Well, we are now nearing the end of our event, and I think we've saved an excellent way to wrap things up. I'm looking forward to it. It's a panel discussion of entrepreneurship featuring several entrepreneurs, all of whom are alumni of the CBE and moderated by our very own Professor Izette Darandelli. Dr. Darandelli is the CBE's Assistant Professor of Management, Interim Associate Director of the Smith Center, and this year's recipient of the Marv just changed his name, of the Marv Remick Outstanding Faculty Award in Service. So the panel is definitely in good hands. Thank you for letting me be a part of the presentation. I'm going to turn things over now. Please welcome Dr. Izette Darandelli.
Thank you, JR. You are doing an excellent job. I think we should all learn from you. It would be great if we could afford you to help us to keep our students engaged when we are teaching. I don't know if we can afford you writing scripts for our classes. So you are doing an excellent job. This has been going so good. And then, Jack, what a transformational story. So I can't keep listening to your story. I think we need to hear more. And then this is good for us, for as professors, as well as our students. So thanks a lot again for that wonderful story. I'm so excited. I'm so thrilled because today we have this 4 distinguished alumni that we want to introduce to you guys. Each of them have unique stories that each of you can take away something, I guess, from their unique stories. And then all of these stories are not that straightforward. They had challenges, they had to overcome challenges, and then they'll be talking about how they came over some of those challenges while and then in the end becoming successful. So again, what I want to say is you guys, our alumni, make us proud as professors, as instructors, teaching our students, and as a junior faculty, you guys motivate us to believe in that we will be maybe teaching some of the tomorrow's makers. So you guys are so I'm so thrilled to have you guys for our entrepreneurship panel. Here's how we are going to proceed. I'm going to ask one question to each our distinguished entrepreneurs and professionals, our panelists, and then in the end we'll have one question that comes from our UP club, our entrepreneurship club. So, and students have submitted questions to ask to our panelists, and then we have chosen the one that's received the most votes from our students. In the end, I'll be asking one question to all of our panelists, and please, our panelists, feel free to chime in and answer that question. So I'll start with Deka. Deka is, I have the privilege to introduce Deka to you because I have, again, I know you as one of my students from our executive MBA program. You're so successful. A quick bio about Deka. She works for US Bank, manager at US Bank. She's the CEO and founder of Omatachi, a startup that helps connecting first generation Asian American with their families in China. And then what they are trying to do is they are providing in-home care to their elders back home and giving them the technology to track and monitor their care. Deko is also very generous with her time because she's sitting on the board of Iniso Yan Foundation, and she's also on the advisory board of Junior Achievement. So I'm so thrilled to have you here again, Deka. Thanks a lot for joining our panel. I have a question for you. You have been one of our finalists in our pitch competition as well, right? So if you can, it will be great if you can mention us a little bit about how did you come up with this idea about behind this Omotochi, and then what during your time at Cal State East Bay helped you to turn your idea into a reality? Because I know you received some funding as well. So can you tell us about this process? Thank you.
Thanks, Izette, and thank you for the warm introduction. You forgot to mention that I was your best student. I don't know why you didn't mention that, but So Cal State East Bay, I think that my story would not be complete without, talking about my MBA program there. When I started, when we went for the info session, I always tell the story. Um, Glenn Taylor told us then that we're gonna create bond and get to know just strangers that we just met like really well. Within the first few weeks, I thought he was just joking, but it wasn't a joke. My first class was with Tom Bagwell, and my mind was blown because I got to build deep bond with a lot of my cohort. Everybody there really. Then also I met my co-founder in that program, so that I'm thankful for. For the company, how I came up with that was we had the immersion program or trip to China last year, which was led by Professor Glenn Taylor, and it was one of the best trips I've ever been to. It was very intense. We visited 10 over 10 companies in 10 days, and we visited 4 cities. We got to learn how business was done in China, and the culture. It was very different. It was similar to my culture in Nigeria, but also different. While we were there, I started talking to a lot of people trying to find out because I was intrigued by the way business was done there. I started talking to people and trying to find out what the pain points were, what I could do, what kind of business I could do there. And one thing that stood out to me was the senior care business because due to I don't know if everybody knows this, but China had a one-child policy a few years ago, and because of that there's this aging population. And of course, first generation, for example, first generation Chinese Americans here, they came out here to pursue their careers, and they leave their parents at home, and but they are obligated legally and culturally to take care of them. So we came up with a way to help with that, and with all the resources, guidance that I got from Cal State East Bay, I was able to make this a reality. I got guidance from the professors. I could call any of the professors to actually, help me, and they're so willing to do that, no questions asked. I've been introduced to, industry leaders by some of the professors. During the pitch competition that we did last year, is that like you mentioned, I found out about Founder Institute. I didn't even know that was a thing. Founder Institute is a pre-accelerator program that helps businesses, from start to launch. And I'm actually currently going through that program. It's really intense, but very, very fruitful, very exciting. So thank you. I hope I was able to answer your question, Professor Izet.
Always. I know won't give you a hard time, but it's the result was pretty good. So thanks a lot. So, and I think it's quite interesting that small things add up, and then small connections add up, and then I think these are all things that make you successful. So thanks a lot for sharing your story, and then
Thank you for having me.
we'll hear from more from you. Next, I want to move on to Elnaz. Elnaz is our BA 2012 art alumni. She is the founder and CEO of Roybe Robot. She's a serial entrepreneur with over 15 years of experience in technology, business, sales, and marketing. She's the founder of the Roybe. It's an investor-backed tech company. It's focused, very interesting. It's focusing, listen to this, guys. It's focusing on early childhood education and with supporting with artificial intelligence and kind of, I think, combining robotics. And her company recently raised $4.2 million in its seed round. Elnaz is also sitting at the board of Consumer Technology Association and Small Business Council. So again, I'm very thrilled to have you here, Elnaz. Thanks a lot for joining us. My question. So what you are doing with Robi is a great example. All this team of tomorrow making. Your company received this $4.2 million investment you guys have received. But it would be great if you can tell us what is the tomorrow that you are really envisioning for Robi. Is it like, what's that tomorrow? Can you tell us? And then maybe what made you go on if you have time, despite being rejected like 200 times while trying to raise that money? So please.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the kind introduction and inviting me and Royby Robot here. I'm really honored, and it really helps me to go back to my great memories at the time that I was attending the East Bay. And it is really incredible to see how things actually changed from the time that I was at school and now running Royby. But in terms of the company, we started the idea of Roybe about 3.5 years ago, and our mission has always been to personalize education for children because we believe no longer it should be one size fits all. But after a lot of research, we found out that there is no good tool or products in early childhood education, and it's an extremely critical time for children as they grow up for the future success. It's a very critical time, but huge gap in this category. So we decided to utilize artificial intelligence to create our Royby robot, which is an AI-powered robot for kids. Right now, we are focusing in language learning and basic STEM. In terms of the whole process, I have to say it has been an incredible journey. Lots of ups and downs. When we started the idea and went out to do fundraising, it was very challenging because at that time we didn't even have a working prototype. So it was really hard to convince the investors to actually invest in our team and our abilities and what we did in the past, and rather than just looking at the product and numbers and really believe in our mission in the future. It took a lot of no's and rejections. As you mentioned, more than 200 people told me no. And finally, we got our first investor in that they believed in our mission, that we are going to really change the way that children learn in the future. And the fact that AI and personalized education is going to be the future of how kids should learn. And then after a lot of conversations, our second investor came in and he gave us a big funding. We were not even expecting that. And it just happened all of a sudden. We were looking to raise only 1 million. And then our investor said, hey, let me give you all the capital because you still need to raise more money and save your time and focus on launching the product. And I'm so glad that happened because then we got featured on the cover of Time magazine as one of the best inventions in education. So it has been quite incredible. And what I learned as an entrepreneur to also get me going is when you believe in your mission and you love what you're doing and you know you're going to make a difference and have a significant impact, it doesn't matter how many rejections you get. All you think is moving forward, try many different ways, and in the end, it's just going to happen. And that's what happened for us, and it has been really incredible and exciting.
Thank you, Anas. Thank you for
Thank
your inspirational words. You guys are doing a great job, and I believe Roby will be a really, really very successful company. You guys will disrupt the education
Thank you.
industry.
And we have many amazing supporters to support us, just like yourself, and spreading the word about our mission. So we are really grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Anas, again. Next, I want to move on to exceptional individual, Mike Koch. He graduated from in 1990. He's currently founder and president of the Terrana Realty Corporation. He actually co-founded the Terrana Realty Corporation, and he served as the president, as a director since February 2010. His exceptional career included serving as a chief financial officer of AMB, now it's Prologis, which is a very big company, and president and chief executive officer of IAT Aviation Facilities, which is a Canadian income trust company. Mr. Koch also serves as a director of Digital Realty Trust, which is it's a public company at New York Stock Exchange, a leading global provider of data center co-location and interconnection solutions. Exceptional career. You have an exceptional resume. So thanks a lot, Mike, again, joining our entrepreneurship panel, Tomorrow Makers panel. this your resume, your experience includes leading multi-billion-dollar companies as well as finding amazing companies, right? And taking them to the IPO, which is also another big challenge. So can you tell us how you decided to become a true tomorrow maker? Because I know you started you had a CPA, right? You were an accountant student, and how you decided to become a true tomorrow maker, and then now how us, maybe California State University, help you in this amazing journey.
Thank you for having me. It's interesting listening to a lot of other panelists that have had similar paths as myself. I started at East Bay or Cal State Hayward back then, back in the day, and I didn't know I wanted to be an accountant. I didn't know I was going to go into accounting. I knew from an early age I wanted to start businesses and I wanted to do real estate. I just knew that, and I had little businesses all through. I mean, little middle school and high school and things like that I did. And when I ended up at Hayward, I got into accounting because I took a class and it was really easy. And I thought, oh, this is my entry into business. I had no idea what you did with an accounting degree at that point in time, but I knew this was my path. And I was fortunate to have some amazing professors. One in particular, Bruce Rain, was phenomenal at kind of guiding me. And so I ended up graduating Hayward and getting a job at Arthur Andersen. I had no idea what public accounting did at that point in time. I had interned at Chevron and decided I really didn't want to do that. Went into Anderson, was there for 7 years where I did a lot of, was fortunate to do real estate, take companies public and learn about things, because what I thought was most beneficial about my time at Hayward or East Bay, was that by getting the accounting degree, it gave me the ability to get into a business and see what was going on and learn about what other people did. And from there, I could decide, well, I no longer want to be an agent. I want to be a principal. And I was there about 7 years, decided I want to be a partner. And I left and joined the company called A&B as they were going public, became the CFO there, spent 10 years there building that business. We went from, $4 or $5 billion company to a $15 billion company in 14 countries around the world. And ultimately decided that I wanted my own thing. I had been helpful in building something, but when you found something, it's yours. And I wanted that. The company was the CEOs, and I wanted to start my own thing. And so a partner and I broke out on our own. I retired for a year right before the great financial crisis. So I sat that one out on the sidelines and then started Terreno with the idea that I was going to take the best of what I learned at A&B and apply that in a much simpler format. And ultimately was able to start the company with my partner. We raised an IPO money where we was just basically 6 people in a business plan in 2010, coming out of the great financial crisis, with the plan of we're going to own warehouses in 6 markets close in, because we think that's the best strategy long term as people want to get their goods. Now, they happen upon the fact that the e-commerce has now come in and has made my business tremendous, very profitable at what I own, because I'm in the right place at the right time. I looked at it all along. I've had 3 jobs since I graduated. That's it. And every one of those that I looked at was, how do I gather skills that can benefit me in the next thing I do? I used my accounting job to learn about, the basics of finance. So if I understood the accounting, I could understand profits. Therefore, I could understand how companies really made money and people valued them. And then as I became a CFO, I became more operational and learned about how the operating decisions affect results. And then ultimately, I became an entrepreneur by starting a company and getting to decide what I wanted to do and how I want to spend my time versus how I don't want to spend my time. And that is much more enjoyable aspect. When you're your own boss and you can decide what you like to do and what you don't like to do, you can kind of sort of say, I'm not doing that today. I'm going to do this because I enjoy this. And I think that makes you more successful. So it kind of compounds on itself. So I've been fortunate, have been, worked for some great companies and now have a great company of my own with a partner. So I've been blessed by that.
I love what you guys are doing, and then I love the fact that you are proud of the company that you founded, and then it's a great success, and then I think it motivates our students. So it's a great chance to have an accomplished alumni like you. So thanks a lot again joining our so we'll be connected. We'll hear more from you for sure. Next, I want to move on to Ubong. Ubong is, I'm also very excited to introduce Ubong to you guys because Ubong is one of our finalists that we have from our pitch competition that we held last year with the Smith Center for Private Studies and with the support of Up Club and the Dean, George Lowe, the Dean's office was a big supporter of that event. He also works for US Bank, and but at the same time he received his MBA from CSUEB in 2020. He is the founder and president of and CEO of the Iniso Youth Foundation. That's I'm a big supporter. It's a great company. You guys are doing an excellent job. It's a non-profit NGO centered building a platform for youth empowerment in Nigeria through sports, arts, entertainment, while simultaneously teaching them workforce skills to help discover a brighter future. Uh, he is an advocate for disfranchised youth and believes that given the opportunity, they will thrive in today's world. So I know you are doing a zillion of things, Ubong. So you are an amazing individual. I'm so happy to have you as a student. You also did good in my class as well. You are one of my second best student after Deka, of course, of course. And so I know your biggest dream is Iniso. You keep believing in that. And then maybe if you can talk us a little bit about Iniso, then tell us what motivated you to choose to become a social entrepreneur, which I call being on the dark side. It's even more challenging, right? So and you know, so what made you become so resilient? Why are you doing this? Can you tell us, please?
Absolutely. First, thank you, Professor Zed, for the awesome introduction. Thank you so much, and thank you to all the panelists and everyone watching for having me. So yeah, like Professor Zed had mentioned, Iniso is a nonprofit. It's based out of Nigeria. So what we do is empower youth, and we do that through sports, arts, and entertainment, while at the same time teaching them workforce skills to help discover a brighter future. So what motivated me to become a social entrepreneur, right? So for me, I've always had this desire to give back community I came from. Obviously, being raised in Nigeria, I always had it in mind that I wanted to do something to give back what I could. And the best way was through sports. And I enjoyed playing soccer as a kid. It taught me a lot of things, taught me about teamwork and what have you. So the story goes, I made it from Nigeria to America. I would go back home to visit family, but I'll make it a point to go back to play in these locations in the community where I grew up playing. And from that, I was able to pretty much what I did was tell, the few people we had, like, hey, you know what, next time I come, let's just do something for the community. Let's make it a community event, a block party if you may, for recognition and for a little cash prize. And to my surprise, the word of mouth, the power of word of mouth, this is when I knew it could be real powerful. It traveled so much that the turnout that we had was incredible throughout the whole people of the community that ultimately attracted media attention. So something that's supposed to be 24 people getting together and just, having fun and celebrating. It turned out to have over 500 participants. Almost scaring me to not want to do anything about it because it kept building. But that's when I decided we should, start something, and that's how Iniso was born. So with the experience with California State University East Bay, attending the MBA program for me was a great deal, especially the program I was in, the Global Innovators I was admitted to. I initially spoke with Professor Glenn, who told me what I could expect from the course, the way it was designed with cohorts, and what I would get out of it, or hopefully get out of it. And those words actually became true because throughout the whole program with all the amazing professors we had, from Tom Bagwell, you got to learn about culture, you got to learn about personalities, you got to learn about resilience, ultimately, the final program we had that was actually led by Professor Glenn and Professor Zet, the capstone program, embodied everything. We went through understanding what it takes to build a brand, take understanding your target market and also understanding the market factors that encompasses what it is to build a brand. And I think with that and the cohorts that we had, amazing cohorts, that I just think that program itself, the way it's designed with cohorts, all of us work together in something we believe in that eventually is going to help build resilience. So.
Thank you, Bong. And then it's great to hear you that, you still remember the things that, we try to teach you guys, and we learn so much from you guys as well. Here's the question. Given that we don't have enough time, here's a question for all of our panelists. This question came from our students from Up Club. They facilitated some questions, and then they decided that they are going to ask this question, this challenging question to you, which is, do you think Elon Musk is the next Steve Jobs? I don't know who wants to go.
I'll go first. No, he hasn't yet. His product, I think Steve Jobs transformed our lives and actually opened up for broader than the people who bought the phone. And so I think he is transformative. I think Elon Musk is an amazing businessman and entrepreneur with his car, but it's just an iteration. It's evolutionary, not revolutionary. So no.
I think actually yes, or even maybe not just next, even bigger, not because of the transformation aspect of it, because of his mission and what he's trying to do in many different categories, environment, space, and his efforts are going to actually come to fruition a little bit longer than what we've seen with Steve Jobs. And he's already also my role model.
Okay, I guess I'll go next. For me, the way I look at it is Elon Musk is going to be the next Elon Musk. I mean, yes, they're changing the way things work in the world, for a better place, if you may. And but he's going to do it in his own way. They're similar, but they're different. So, yeah.
I absolutely agree with you.
Great. So it's all these different views, and then I think it concludes our entrepreneurship panel. And I again want to thank you all, each individual, and all the people that have put this event together, this panel together. I hope you guys enjoyed our panel. And again, I want to thank our distinguished alumni who joined our entrepreneurship panel. And then I want to move on the mic to George, our Dean, George Lowe. And that concludes our panel. Thank you.
Thank you, Izette, and this really super entrepreneurship panel. This has been a fantastic virtual 50th anniversary tribute. So a big thank you to all of our students, alumni, faculty, staff, and friends for attending and being a part of our celebration of 50 years of transformation. Also, a big thank you to J.R. Havlin for being such an amazing host, to President Marishta for your leadership and your message today, and to all the panelists and organizers of this event. Thank you also to the Cal State University, Cal State East Bay Jazz Band for opening this virtual event, and they will close us out. So thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of the day. Take care, stay safe and healthy.